fair start for Washington State. In lane number 4, Sharika Higgins. Higgins will hand off to Asia Frary. Oregon with the early lead, and here comes Arizona on the inside. That is Dee Buzzy for Arizona on the inside. It's Arizona with the early lead. Handing off. And it's Arizona, Oregon, Washington State. Here come the anchor legs for Washington State. Keep your eyes on Atrina Higgins. Here goes Atrina Higgins. Arizona drops out. Atrina Higgins anchoring on a team that has already qualified provisionally for the NCAA. Washington State for the first win, followed by Oregon, and the Pepsi Team Invitational is underway. From storied Hayward Field in Eugene, the Pepsi Team Invitational. 3 teams from the Pac-10, Oregon, Arizona, and Washington State. And Indiana represents the Big Ten. Weather conditions may be best suited for synchronized swimming today, but for track, we've got the temperature in the high 50s, 100% humidity, a little bit of a wind, and continued rain in the forecast. Hi, everybody. I'm Todd McKim along with Tom Jordan, and welcome to today's meet. Despite the weather conditions, Tom, I think we still expect outstanding competition, not only in the team scoring, but in individual events as well.
It should be very close both on the men's and women's side. On the men's side, the very first event, the 4x100 relay, 3 of the teams are all separated by only 7/100ths of a second. Lots of points at play there. And in the middle distances, we'll watch very closely in the 800 and the 1500 because Washington State, Oregon, and Arizona have strong contingents.
And in the pole vault, a competition that we still don't know whether or not it'll be contested because of the weather conditions. We have 3 outstanding vaulters. That should be good competition there. We expect Washington State and Oregon. They battled it out in a good dual meet in Pullman earlier this year to vie for the team championship. On the women's side, it's really up for grabs. Arizona, Washington State, and Oregon all have a legitimate shot.
Washington State will be counting on its sprint corps in the 100 and 200 meters and the relays. For Oregon, it's going to be the Jennifer Thomas show. She's going to be in 3 events. Oregon hopes that she'll score lots of points in lots of events in order for them to win. And Amy Skirez of Arizona is trying to complete a triple crown. She's already won the NCAA cross-country and indoor championships. She's trying to add the outdoor championships later this spring in Bloomington, Indiana.
Ought to be good competition all the way up and down. Just about every event should be a good one. Let's head on down to the track. The men's 4x100 relay, Oregon, Indiana, Washington State, and Arizona. Quartet out pretty evenly. Jeff Lightheart, a slight edge for Washington State. He will hand it off to Tyson Allen. Second leg for Oregon is Nat Johnson, their best sprinter. He's making a move down the back stretch. Oregon with the lead. Nat Johnson, a pass to Howard Moore on the curve. Moore and Oregon maintaining their lead. Moore extending their lead. The anchor leg for Oregon will be Jody Mortimer, and trying to run him down for Washington State, Guillermo Macias. It's Jody Mortimer and Oregon trying to hold off Guillermo Macias. Mortimer, a lone jumper, holds on and just does win. Washington State second, Arizona finishes third.
Excellent race. Just inside that.
Just as we thought, it was tight between 3 teams. Washington State, Oregon battling it all the way. Jody Mortimer just barely able to hold off a more pure sprinter in Guillermo Macias of Washington State. Oregon with the best coming in of 41-14 under the conditions today. They look to run about a 41-34 officially. But it's a good win for Oregon. We talked earlier about the fact that Oregon and Washington State had met earlier this year in a dual meet in Pullman. Washington State prevailed by 1 point. The Ducks would like to turn the tables. Coming up next, the 5,000.
Fox Sports Northwest and Boeing announced the Boeing Youth Baseball Player of the Week Award. All baseball players under 17 are eligible to win a special trophy, tickets to a Mariners game, and an on-air salute from Fox Sports Northwest. To enter, send in your nomination with a picture of the nominee, birth date, and a statement why they should be considered for the Boeing Youth Baseball Player of the Week Award. Winners will best embody the spirit of our national pastime. Send your nominations to the Boeing Youth Baseball Award, care of Fox Sports Northwest, 3626 156th Avenue Southeast, Bellevue, Washington, 98006.
I'm Rick Tootin, punter for the Seattle Seahawks. When disaster strikes your community, police, fire rescue, and other emergency services can't always help everyone at once. You need to be ready to help yourself and your family. Talk to your family about disaster preparedness. Learn CPR and first aid, and have supplies on hand. Being prepared before disaster strikes is the most important thing you can do.
I don't need much. A little food. Not that little. Whoa! A little water. Some exercise. Some attention. Nice doggy. Places to see. Places to go. But most of all, a place to call home.
Cancer can take away all my physical abilities. It cannot touch my mind, it cannot touch my heart, and it cannot touch my soul. And those three things are going to carry on forever.
To help keep Jimmy V's dream alive, please call 1-800-4-JIMMY-V. Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
The women's 5,000 meters, a real treat in store for you here. We have the #1 collegiate runner in this country as you look at Amy Skiers, a sophomore from Westlake Village, California, from Arizona, and the prohibitive favorite. And away they go, and it doesn't take long for Amy to forge into the lead. Quickly in second place is Oregon's Milena Glusek. Skiers, the NCAA cross-country champion. She's the indoor 5,000-meter champion, looking for the hat trick, the trifecta, cross-country, indoor, and outdoor championships.
Todd, I'm a little surprised she's going right to the lead and looks like she's setting a fairly brisk pace. Milena Glusek trying to hold with her. Milena's finally healthy again. I'm not sure she's ready for this kind of pace, though.
Amy Skiers, Pac-10 and NCAA Athlete of the Year for her performances last year. She qualified for the Olympic trials and, in fact, finished 11th at the trials. Milena Glusek, also a participant back there, but did not make it out of the qualifying rounds. But Skiers, the one thing she wants to do this year, Tom, she wants to stay healthy because she missed the Pac-10 and the NCAA meets last year. She was able to come back for the trials, but you know, the one thing that I know a lot of coaches want to do is you would like to see progression in your athletes during the course of the season. You want to see improvement. But the big thing is you want to have your best people healthy for those big meets at the end of the year.
This race should be like a stepping stone for her because she's got her sights set on the Pac-10 first and then the NCAA championships.
She's the only woman to have successfully defended Pac-10 and District Cross-Country Championships. So getting it done outdoors and also indoors and on the track as well. You're looking at one of the premier runners and someone that will be on the scene for a long time to come. And Milena Glusek trying to return to her All-American form. She's been a stalwart for the Ducks in cross-country and on the track as well. Last week, skiers ran 3,000 meters in Tempe, Arizona, not the greatest conditions. We'll get back to the 5,000 a little bit later on, but now let's go to the women's javelin. This is Matija Bezjak from Slovenia. Her best, 1:43.11 in the javelin. Good effort considering the conditions today. The wind behind the throwers today in the javelin, which is not the best of conditions. They like that headwind where you can get the javelin right into the wind and let it ride for a while. So 1:43.11, good enough for second place. You're looking at Katie Piermine for Oregon, has been the #1 thrower for the Ducks this year, immediately out of the blocks and had an NCAA provisional mark over 160. Not the best of days for her today. Couldn't quite get the form together. 1:36.8. So she finishes third, And here has been the big surprise, and a pleasant surprise for Oregon this year, Karis Howell. As she is coming on like gangbusters, and not only is improving, but also has a consistency level, 153.8, and she wins the javelin. So Oregon 1-3 in the javelin, off to a good start. And traditionally has been probably the strongest event on the Oregon track and field team. Back to the 5,000, we pick up Amy Skiers. She has been in control of the 5,000 the entire way.
She's got a very good pace going. Elena Glusak is already well back. Skiers looks like she's really putting the pedal to the metal on this 5,000.
Well, indoors, she beat Wisconsin's Kathy Butler to win the indoor championship. She won by 8 seconds and set a meet record as well. And you can see the bell lap for Amy Skiers, a sophomore, only a sophomore from Westlake Village, California.
As you said, Todd, if she can stay healthy, she can develop into one of the top 5,000, 10,000 meter runners in the United States, and we can sure use her.
I think that the folks in the Pac-10 have to deal with her for 2 more years as well. And today running comfortably, in total control. You can see the weather conditions rainy, but the wind not too bad at this point. And one of the reasons why Arizona will be able to score some points in the big meets down the stretch. And Elena Glusak behind her has kind of been battling unknown illnesses over the last couple of years, but rounding back into shape. She's a junior. She's already got the provisional time of 16:56 at Stanford. And right now, she's 8th on the Pac-10 charts. But Amy Skiers, it was her race today. Amy Skiers, better get used to seeing that sight. Amy Skiers first to the tape, winning a 5,000.
Oh, and a great time for Amy.
Under 16 minutes, 15:53.83. And that is the best time in the nation this year. And Glusak trying to reel it all in here. She finished second last year to her teammate Melody Fairchild at the indoor 3,000. Kind of went back there and didn't really expect a whole lot, and they went 1-2 in that event. Did not compete in the indoor championships this year. And last year she won the Pepsi in 16:11. Won't be on that mark today.
Well, that 16:11 was the meet record, which Amy Skiers just shattered. Elena trying to get back into it. It was kind of unfortunate in this race in that she had to run it more or less all by herself in second place.
So Elena Glusak of Oregon finishing second. Got another month to round into full shape, get ready for the Pac-10 championships in Seattle. There's the champion Skiers. Looks like she's ready just to go for another jog, doesn't she? A little sip of water and away I go for another 5-miler. Let's pick up some of the field action. Long jump, Dee Buzzy, a multi-event performer for the Wildcats. Really someone that you can count on to be in a multitude of events. And a good competitor too. She's tough. Stockily built, and on a day not conducive for great jumping, nice effort there. 18:7 for Dee. But on this day, Jennifer Thomas, who will be competing at Drake next week in the heptathlon, had a pretty good series of jumps. Up around 19 feet most of the day. That one 18:10, and so Jennifer Thomas victorious in the women's long jump. When we come back to the track with the steeplechase.
Women's Sports Foundation, championing women in sports. Call and see how far you can go.
People go hungry every day in Washington. Nearly half of them are children. Please help set a table. Call Northwest Harvest, 1-800-722-6924.
Reach out to a girl. Help girls grow up strong, smart, and bold. Call Girls Incorporated.
You say you can't start exercising until you get some workout equipment? Well, guess what? You already have it. A reminder from the American Heart Association that ordinary physical activities can help reduce your risk factors for heart disease. Call 1-800-AHA-USA1 and learn how to get in on the action.
The steeplechase, one of the stronger fields in today's competition. Daniel Das Nieves of Oregon currently leading the way. Das Nieves with the top time in the Pac-10 Conference so far this year and an NCAA automatic qualifying time of 8:43.47 last week at the Oregon Invitational, a race in which he finished third. But as you can see, he has not distanced himself from the field. We have 4 of the top 6 steeplechasers in the Pac-10. And in addition to that, we also have Tom Chorney, who is currently running in second place from Indiana with a best of 9:02.65.
As expected, Das Nieves is now in the lead, but early on, Rob Aubrey took the pace, and they kind of did some team running. Now Daniel's taken over, Chorney's in second, Aubrey in third.
Das Nieves with the lead, looking comfortable at this point. Chorney in second. Chorney is a sophomore from Fruitport, Michigan. Das Nieves, of course, ranked number 1 in the Pac-10, third in the NCAA. Lost last week in a race in which he took the pace out a little quickly. Ran 67s for the first 3 laps, and eventually lost to Pasquale Durbert of Wisconsin, who ran 8:37, and Frank Bruder of Idaho, 8:40, and those are the top 2 times in the country coming into this week. Das Nieves with about an 8-10 meter lead. Chorney, though, within striking distance.
John Pillow in third, academic All-American, and he is somebody who's coming on very strongly over the last couple of races this season.
Last lap was 70 seconds. Das Nieves came to the Oregon program a couple of years ago from Brazil. Briefly lived in Eugene back in 1989 with that Luis de Oliveira group, Joaquin Cruz and company. And then went to high school, Felix High School in the San Diego area. Attended a junior college, Grossmont College, where he won junior college titles in the 800 and the 1500. It's been a great addition to this Oregon program, and Das Nieves has extended his lead to about 15 to 18 meters over Chorney.
Todd, you mentioned that last week he lost a race. I think one of the positives for Daniel in that race was that even after he went out hard and got passed, he still had the strength left to come back and finish well. And certainly 8:43.47 is a great early season time.
Well, lap for the leader, Daniel Das Nieves of Oregon. 71 seconds on that lap. Chorney in second. Pillow and Rob Aubrey in a battle for third and fourth. The NCAA automatic qualifying time is 8:44. The big one for a number of these guys might be the 8:57 provisional time. Daniel Das Nieves is the meet record holder when he ran 8:49 he won last year. And he has extended his lead, looking comfortable down the back stretch. 2 more barriers to go for Das Neves, the water jump. Safely past that, the sigh of relief.
Chorney's got a good one going. He might break 9 minutes for the steeplechase. Das Neves, of course, has got a faster time than he's going to run today for the season, but he's looking so comfortable. It's a good stepping stone towards the Pac-10 championships in the NC2A.
And Chorney with his eye on the clock trying to get that provisional mark as Das Neves wins the steeplechase, unofficially 8:47. And for Chorney, he's going to be under that provisional mark. Here's Pillow of Arizona, followed by Rob Aubrey of Oregon. So Oregon won 4 in the steeplechase, which for years has been a staple of this Oregon distance corps, finishing 5th for Washington State, and a little disappointed in probably his effort today is Ernie Ammons. He takes 5th. Well, let's go over to the men's javelin. This is Stadelman of Washington State.
Next up will be Mike Pita. And Nat
Let's move over to the pole vault. Outstanding competitors here. We got 3 guys over 17 feet. A couple knocking on the door at 8 feet. One has already gone 18 feet in his career. Piotr Yukarski of Oregon. This is Uciatio of Arizona, up and over easily. And when we come back, we'll have the women's 1,500 meters as you are watching the Pepsi Team Invitational on Fox Sports Northwest.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The season is here. Mariners baseball excitement is coming at you, and Fox Sports Northwest has it. The hitting marvels, the powers on the mound, all of Pinella's boys. 55 live games you won't want to miss. Only on Fox Sports Northwest. Home teams, Fox attitude.
The Golf Channel. Original shows, innovative coverage. Only we can bring you the world of golf in all its glory. The Golf Channel.
To get the Golf Channel, call your local cable operator or satellite programming provider today. The ladies and I used to sit around and play cards, knit, and watch the soaps. We made quite a team. Then one day, Helen heard about strength training. She got a free fact sheet just by calling 1-800-222-2225. We found lifting weights builds muscles and bones. It improves our balance, too. So now when we get together, we exercise. It really gives us a lift. Give yourself a lift. Call for a free fact sheet.
City of Hope. Join us in touching the lives of millions. Call 1-800-260-HOPE.
Ready for the women's 1,500 here at Hayward Field. Virginia Camacho of Arizona in lane number 1. And we believe the prohibitive favorite is Karin Knutson of Oregon, NCAA qualifier a year ago. And they're off. Knutson on the outside. Camacho, Joanne Hunsinger of Washington State, Tracy Knutson of Indiana, Christy Engesser of Oregon, and Kelowna, former Sheldon High School runner, running now for the University of Arizona. Anna Marie Hott of Washington State, Cara Deal of Indiana, and Karin Knutson of Oregon.
Ranked 4th in the NCAA with us at 61.7.
Karin Knutson on the shoulder there of Joanne Hunsinger is really one of the people I think is going to develop into the top middle distance runners in the United States. She's got the requisite speed. She's got excellent strength, good racing sense. I think in this race, she's probably just going to hang back and plan to kick the last half lap or so to save herself. But she is the real deal. Christy Engesser on the inside in third is trying to come back from some injuries, but she is a tough little competitor also.
So Anna Marie Hobbs wearing the 276 from Washington State with the early lead, but Knudsen right on her shoulder. Knudsen has a personal best of 4:20.72. Take a look at the qualifying numbers in the women's 1500. The automatic mark is 4:19.50, the provisional 4:26. And the Pac-10 qualifying mark of 4:40.14. Knudsen is the only Oregon competitor that has got NCAA provisional marks in more than one event. She has the 800 and the 1500 under her belt so far.
Going to the final round of
First
the
lap
women's
was
hammer throw. Your leader is
74.2. Leading the way.
Extended her school record now to 160.
This is a pretty pedestrian pace, but I think at this point, everyone in the race is looking at the team scoring rather than qualifying marks for the Pac-10. Weather conditions aren't too bad for running a 1500 meters, but it's not a blistering pace by any means.
Maria Hobbs continues with Knudsen. You see number 230 there on the outside. Kelowna from Arizona. From Sheldon High School and headed down south. And you know, having run here at Hayward Field before, that this has to be an exciting moment for her. She would love to do very well, would like to beat an Oregon runner or two if she could. You know, we talked earlier, Tom, about the fact that a lot of these runners from other parts of the country come to Hayward Field and talk about home field advantage for Oregon, but for these visiting athletes, especially in the distance events, coming to Hayward Field pumps them up a little bit more, and to run against these Oregon people, they always seem to come up with some of their best performances.
Against the Ducks, of course.
Second lap, 74 seconds, so 2:28 through 800. Hobbs continues to lead with Knudsen right there. Knudsen from Anchorage, Alaska, and told me earlier in the week that there's a very solid and strong core of former Oregon runners in Anchorage. The running community is not large up there, but the runners that are up there seem to have strong Oregon ties. One of the reasons why she opted to attend Oregon as a walk-on. Now she gets scholarship.
There may be something to that. You're tougher when you come from someplace like Alaska. I'm thinking of Don Clary and Colin Knudsen's in that same tough mode that Don was.
Anna Marie Hobbs still has the lead. Hobbs with a personal best of 4:30.82, season best 4:31.96. So, you know, she's in good shape. And Knudsen trying to make a little bit of a move on the back stretch, but Hobbs did not let her pass.
Very gutty performance by Emery. She's looking good. But look at Karen. She's barely breathing. I think she's just going to wait till about 150 to go to unleash it.
200 meters to go, and Hobbs has led all the way. And now Knudsen, that's right the spot there where she fell in the NCAA 1500 semifinals. No fall today, and now into another gear.
And she has that extra gear. She's got that good strength. She's got fairly good speed, too, 2:06 for 800 meters. If she can get that time down, she can really make an impact at 1500 later on.
Karen Knudsen, a junior, will win the 1500. Hobbs now trying to hold on for second. Here comes Ann Kelowna from Arizona. Knudsen first. Hobbs might get passed at the tape by Kelowna. That was very close. And I think Hobbs might have finished third there. But Karen Knudsen, a very strong run, just sat on Hobbs for most of the race, and with about 150 meters to go, turned it on and coasts to the victory, unofficially 4:27.98.
Give Emery some credit, Ann-Lee Hobbs of Washington State. She led that entire race into this win and really did all the pace work. But boy, wasn't that the easiest 4:27 you've ever seen. Just striding along. Karen Knudsen, she is going to be great.
So Knudsen, we'll see her on a 4x4 relay. This was the third and final attempt of Oregon's Piotr Bukarski, trying to stay in the hunt, and just does hit the bar. So Bukarski is out of the pole vault. Looking at the early team scoring on the men's side, Oregon with 34, Arizona 26, Washington State 24, Indiana 17. And after 5 events on the women's side, Oregon 56.5, Washington State second, Arizona third, Indiana fourth. Ready for the start of the men's 1,500. Ought to be a good one. We have Kenyans in this that know how to run this race. In lane number 1, Bernard Lagat. Lane number 2, Bob Kino. You'll remember that name from years past. Laird Prosser, a young Oregon runner. Down the line you go. Ben Andrews, the other Oregon competitor, trying to round himself into shape midway through the season. And we look at Bernard Lagat, and he'll be paired with Bob Kino today, and we're off to a good start. Looks like the Oregon runners move towards the front. Bob Kino, the junior from Kenya, stride with Ben Andrews.
Bob, of course, is the brother of Martin Kano, who was at Arizona before him, and one of the many sons and daughters of Kip Kano, the all-time great 1968 Olympic champion. Of course, Kip has adopted a great many people, so his large family, a lot of the Kanos are actually not blood related, but are his children.
Bernard Lagat says, I don't want to sit in the back here. I'd like to be up towards the front, and so the sophomore from Nairobi assumes control early.
Michael Zlatoff moving into second, Ben Andrews in third on the inside. Lagat is the real thing in this race. He's run a 3:37.7 1,500-meter lifetime best. He's run 3:42.68 this year. There are a lot of runners in here right around 4 minutes equivalent for the mile, so it should be a good last lap and a half.
Lagat's 3:37 was run at the Kenyan Olympic trials, where he finished 6th. Injured most of the cross-country season last fall, managed in his only appearance to finish 7th. That was at the Pac-10 championships as the Cougars finished 4th. Of course, Ben Andrews has been one of the more consistent Oregon middle distance runners over the last several years. Ran his season best of 3:48 last week at the Oregon Invitational, has a PR of 3:43 2 years ago at the Pepsi Invitational.
Lagat doing the work here with Kano up on his shoulder. Ben Andrews on the inside. Laird Prosser, I think, has got a real potential to develop into a very, very good 1,500-meter runner if he can just shake the injuries that have slowed him down.
Another one of those middle distance runners from Anchorage. Well, this 1,500 has been a marquee event the last several years at the Pepsi Team Invitational. You think of the guys that Ben Andrews has lost to, Taurus or Jesse last year, and 2 years ago, he loses to the eventual NCAA champion, Kevin Sullivan of Michigan. So this has always been one of the marquee events in this Pepsi Team Invitational. 11th year for this competition. Lagat and Kino running stride for stride with the 2 Oregon runners, 3rd and 4th.
This is a little surprising for Bob Kano. He's run 3:48 this year, but of course that was in very windy conditions. He may be in better shape than that time indicates.
You see the important numbers that are in the back of the minds of these runners at some point this season. Bell lap, away we go. Lagat and Kano, 1-2. That was a 61-6 split. Prosser trying to hang in there with 3rd. Ben Andrews has dropped back.
Michael Jones moving up into 4th. Every point counts. It's very, very important for these runners, each of them trying to get points for their team.
Lagat, who we expect to see later on in the 800 meters, and who knows, maybe even the 5,000. Now it's a sprint, and Lagat extending his lead over Bob Kano.
Look at that stride. Just immediately, another gear, able to leave Kano behind. Lagat's going to be a factor at the NCs this year, no question about it.
A little bit of a strain on that face, but he's going to win easily. Bernard Lagat from Washington State. Bob Kino in there for 2nd. Strong finish for Laird Prosser of Oregon as he finishes 3rd, just nosing out Jones of Arizona. And Ben Andrews 5th. Unofficial winning time, 3:46.83. So a tactical race. as the two Kenyan runners battled it out all the way. And the older of the two, Bernard Lagat, 22-year-old from Nairobi, wins the 1500. Let's go to the long jump. This is Howard Moore of Oregon. Currently in second, into a bit of a wind. And a little disappointed as he comes out of the pit.
Fair jump for Moore.
Fair jump, though. This is Oregon's Matt Johnson, a freshman, his fourth jump in the long jump. Maybe early in this season the most improved Oregon athlete. He was a 22-foot jumper last year, and he's gone 24 this year. Legal jump.
Fair jump for Nat Johnson of Oregon, the long jump.
Now the string bean guy, tall, 6'4". You can see where that he's a sprinter as well for Oregon.
See what that extra...
So as Johnson tries to move up the ladder in the long jump, we'll be back with more of the Pepsi Team Invitational from Eugene.
Fox Sports Northwest is where to turn for your teams and your sports. We've got it all, and we're bringing it home to you. Whether it's played with the head, hands, feet, or heart, if the winning combination is style and grace or power and punch, or you want the challenge of the clock, the finish line, the goal, or the soul, Fox Sports Northwest is where you'll find your team giving its best. Turn to Fox Sports Northwest when you want it all. Home teams, Fox attitude.
Simon Fraser travels to the Beavers for women's softball Wednesday, April 23rd at 4 Pacific.
When's the last time you saw our neighbor?
Long time. Too long. He said in an emergency. Hello?
The biggest game of the season so far. It's always an exciting place, even more so tonight.
Oh, look, he's a Fox Sports News guy.
I wonder he's never here.
Fox Sports News. Our announcers go to the game to bring you better Sonics and Pac-10 coverage on Fox Sports Northwest.
I'm Gary Payton. Things can get a little rough. It's just part of the game. But babies need gentleness and tender care. Players may lose their cool and get physical. Sometimes parents lose their cool when babies cry. Don't take it out on your baby. Stop. Take a deep breath. Call a friend or a relative for support. Remember, babies are fragile. Please don't shake a child.
For more information, call 1-800-932-HOPE.
Start of the high hurdles. This is Quincy Ruffin of Oregon in lane number 4 with the lead. Look out for Tidwell right beside him. Donald Tidwell of Indiana. It's Tidwell of Indiana, Ruffin of Oregon. And it'll be Tidwell to the tape. Ruffin finishes second. Quincy Ruffin, a big guy, but Tidwell with a seasonal best of 14:33 holds on unofficially 14:59.
And I think maybe Quincy got a little bit of a flyer on that one, Todd. He was out awfully fast, and there was no recall on it, so it's a clean race.
As you can see, Ruffin, a big kid from East Palo Alto, California. This is late in the race. You can see Tidwell on the right. Took the lead about 6 hurdles in and holds on for the victory. The senior from Columbus, Ohio, getting a victory for Indiana.
He was the overwhelming favorite in this race, and Quincy's quick start, I think, threw him back a little bit. Took him a while to get his stride and get back into the race.
A reminder, Fox Sports News coming your way twice each night. 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. We'll have all the scores, features, and get you up to date with all the playoff action. That's right here on Fox Sports News. We'll be back with more.
Power. Every golfer wants it. Now, every golfer can develop it the way professional golfers do with the Pre-Core Stretch Trainer. The key to a high-powered golf swing is flexibility, And the stretch trainer will give you the flexibility to transfer as much as 170% more power to the ball. Power that will lengthen your drives and lower your score.
I've worked with hundreds of golfers, and the Pre-Course Stretch Trainer increases golf-specific flexibility and power like no machine I've ever worked with.
Call now for your free video and see how the stretch trainer will help you increase the power in your swing by as much as 170%.
This is a wonderful, wonderful unit to increase flexibility. I would encourage all the members of the PGA of America to look into purchasing one of these.
There's no easier, more effective, proven way to increase the power in your golf swing than with the Pre-Course Stretch Trainer. Guarantee. Call now for your free video and put the power in your swing.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be bright, 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 sunshiny day.
Ready for the Women's Open 400. You see the lane assignments. Campbell, Search, Frary, Jackson, Bruning, Morris, and Leckensmeyer. Nobody in lane 8, so not a second entry for Arizona. You're looking at, this is Asia Frary for Washington State. And you're looking at Oregon's Sue Morris.
And we have a good start. Campbell,
So good start.
Jackson, Bruning, Morris, and Leckensmeyer.
And out quickly for Oregon is Sue Morris. And beside her, Carolyn Jackson and Asia Frary. Bruning in lane 5. You can see Morris back to Bruning. And then you can see the Arizona runner, Carolyn Jackson. See, it's pretty much a three-person race as they come down to the final straightaway. And it's anybody's race from here on in. Bruning with a slight lead from Indiana. Here comes Carolyn Jackson trying to make the move. Bruning trying to hold on. Sue Morris. Here comes Carolyn Jackson of Arizona. So it'll be Jackson, Bruning, and Morris. With Indiana 4th, Washington State 5th, Oregon 6th.
We had that pegged as a wide open race, and it turned out to be that. Hillary Bruning of Indiana was the, that you see on your screen, was the indoor 600 champion in the Big Ten. Coming out here to kind of a chilly Eugene and did well, getting second. Doesn't look too pleased with herself, though.
And Arizona's Jackson, only a freshman. 6th best mark in the Pac-10 this week. You see her right there with a 55-15 back in March.
Next event inside the track is the women's discus.
So over to some of the field events. This is going to pick up Dusty Carlson in the field events. Dusty bothered by a little bit of a back problem this week. No problem with his vocal cords. And Dusty trying to recapture the magic that he had last year. 54 feet even for Dusty. And this is Ryan Cole, a young man from Thurston High School in Springfield. He gets second place. 55-footer. Currently in second place. The competition is still going on. This young man's been coming on, particularly in the discus. Hey, he likes it. He likes it, and I'm sure his coaches do as well.
All right, Ryan. Here are your competitors, starting in lane number 1.
Ryan Waltz of Washington State. This was his 5th attempt in the shot put, and with that effort, 58 feet 4 inches, and he is the leader heading into the final round. Ready for the men's Open 400. See the lane assignments. Keep your eye on Bruno from Indiana out in lane number 7. Good start. And Bruno is out quickly to his inside, Guillermo Macias. We've already seen him on the anchor. Oregon's top runner is Howard Moore in lane number 4.
Look at Bruno take up that stagger. He is really moving.
Season best of 47.14, PR of 47.07 from Red Deer, Alberta. 4th in the Big Ten a year ago, and right now he has the lead. Closing that is Damian Ortiz from Arizona, senior from Alamogordo, New Mexico, and it is Ortiz that made up the stagger, and he's got a comfortable lead coming down the home stretch. I don't think Bruno can catch him, and running a strong 3rd is Moore for Oregon, and he's trying to reach 2nd, can't quite do it. A good race by Damian Ortiz.
Significant stepping up for Ortiz, and that's big points for Arizona. You know, they have a 9-0 dual meet stretch going back to last year. They're trying to keep that going.
Transfer from Adams State College a couple of years ago, and unofficially he's under 47 seconds. That would be a big seasonal best and a PR as well. The unofficial mark, 46.98 for Damian Ortiz. Let's take a timeout. We'll be right back. The Pepsi Team Invitational. Long way to go. Women's events coming up next, the 100 meters.
Hello, I'm Phil Wick, President of Les Schwab Tire Center. By now you've probably seen us advertise the size of some of our special tire purchases. And now we built a brand new warehouse with room for up to 1 million tires. What does this mean to you? Excellent quality, passenger and pickup all-season tires at unheard of prices, backed in writing by your friendly Les Schwab Sudden Service team. Les Schwab, we're not only working hard to earn your business for tomorrow, we're working hard to save you money today.
In 5 years, Dodge has introduced an entire line of exciting cars and trucks and reinvented an entire brand. The only thing we haven't done is to make these kind of offers all at the same time. Announcing the National Dodge Sale. It's never been easier to get into a new Dodge. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
Fairy tales can come true. It can happen to you if your heart is young. And here is the best part. You'll have a head start if you are among the ones whose heart is young.
People go hungry every day in Washington. Nearly half of them are children. Please help set a table. Call Northwest Harvest, 1-800-722-6924.
Well, you can see we're ready for the women's 100 meters, and here's where Washington State begins to exercise its team strength. In the sprints, we saw what they could do in the short relay with Katrina and Sharika Higgins leading the Cougars to victory there. Let's check out the lane assignments. From Arizona, Colleen Wren. We see Trina Higgins from Washington State. Toya Turner coming back from sitting out there last year in the ACL. Aisha Wallace, Oregon's #1 sprinter this year. Dee Buzzy from Arizona, already a victor today in the hurdles. Sharika Higgins, no relation to Trina, Alicia Bundy, and Hillary Hawley, but these two Higginses, both hail from Southern California, not related, yet the similarities are unbelievable, Tom.
Well, they even came and made their school visit on the same day, but they are not related. The only thing they have in common here is that they are fast.
And they have the same last name.
The same last name. I think this is where Washington State is planning to rack up some really big points. But I like the way Dee Buzzy has been competing today. I could see her being in there for third.
So in lane 2, Trina Higgins. Lane 6, Sharika Higgins. And Buzzy in lane 5, Isha Wallace in lane 4. Running into a headwind. Good start. Great start for Indiana. Here's Buzzy with the lead, but here comes Sharika Higgins. Sharika Higgins, close battle for third, but I think Katrina Higgins nipped Buzzy for second, so it looks like the Cougars went 1-2.
As expected, but I think they had more than their hands full that time. They were expected to kind of run away with it, but Dee Dee Buzzy was in there. After that good hurdles win, she comes back with a real strong 100, takes third.
There's Sharika Higgins. The winner has a PR of 11:91, set at the Cougar Invitation in Pullman back in March. Unofficial, well, we don't have the unofficial. So the Cougars doing as expected in the 100 meters. Taking a look at Sharika Higgins right there, lane 6.
Sharika out well. Look at Buzzy working hard, lane 5. But by this time, Sharika's got it well in hand.
On the scoreboard, the results of the...
So Higgins and Higgins, 1-2 for Washington State. They rack up big numbers in this team scoring. 9 points for first, 7 points for second. So the Cougars big 16 points in the 100.
After 7 events now,
Well, now the men get their chance to sprint down the straightaway here at Hayward Field, the 100 meters. At the lane assignments, lane number 1 from Oregon, Jody Mortimer, the anchor on the victorious 4x100 relay today. Grubbs, Akinremi, Jeff Lightheart, Johnson, Brooks, Goldston, and Sewell. Akinremi had a couple of sisters that attended Arizona State several years ago. You might remember competed in this Pepsi Team Invitational. He is a senior from Nigeria, seasonal best of 10:57. His personal best came at St. Augustine College, where he ran a 10:38, so he appears to be the favorite. Right beside him, Jeff Lightheart of Washington State ran a 10:81 at the Cougar Invitational. And Oregon's number 1 runner, Matt Johnson, with a 10:76 at the Oregon Preview. Fair start. Quickly is Akinremi. He's running away from the field at the 50-meter mark. Forget it. Akinremi, the battle is for second, and 3 guys trying to get that second position. Looked like maybe Jeff Lightheart of Washington State, but Tom, this race was over after 50 meters.
40 meters, Todd. That was like a football 40. He was out of there and gone. Truly a pure sprinter, and you can really tell the difference. Some of these guys like Jody Mortimer of Oregon, great multi-event athlete, but he's not a pure sprinter. He's got it. He's already, as you say, Todd, at 50 meters, well beyond the rest of the field. Lightheart trying to hang on for second. Akinremi, no question about it.
8 inches.
Let's check out that battle for second place. You can see it's Brooks and Lightheart.
Women's scores now after 10 events.
It's close.
107.5 points.
All right, let's go through some of the results of events that are now final and are in the books. First of all, in the women's javelin, the upset here is that Karis Howell, the true freshman, once again over 150 feet in the javelin. She is the winner. Katie Piermine finishes way down there at third. The distance for Katie Piermine, I know, was disappointing. You look at the hammer throw, and the big news for Oregon there is Jeremy Robinson. It's a seasonal best, 196.9, as he gets closer and closer to that 200-foot mark. Colin Skarska is an outstanding all-around weight man for Arizona. In the women's long jump, as expected, Jennifer Thomas going to be running the heptathlon at the Drake Relays next week. Tunes up and almost 19 feet in the long jump, and there's Lucy again, over 18 feet. In the men's javelin, Stadelman of Washington State, the winner. Only 2 competitors over 200. Jared Vigna of Oregon, 204.05. And there's our pole vaulter there, Atio. Remember, he went to 17.5 in the pole vault, and he goes 193 in the javelin. All right, women's high jump. Aldridge, as expected, Not as high as she would have wanted. She's a 6'3" high jumper. She gets first place in that event. And the team scoring through 8 events for the men. Remember, 19 in a men's duel. And in this meet as well, Oregon with a lead over Arizona, Washington State, and Indiana. And on the women's side, still too close to call. Oregon, Arizona, and Washington State. So about midway through this Pepsi Team Invitational, we'll be back with more from Hayward Field in just a moment.
Women's Sports Foundation, championing women in sports. Call and see how far you can go.
I don't need much. A little food. Not that little. Whoa! A little water. Some exercise. Some attention.
Nice doggy.
Places to see. Places to go. But most of all, a place to call home.
Fox Sports Northwest and Boeing announced the Boeing Youth Baseball Player of the Week Award. All baseball players under 17 are eligible to win a special trophy, tickets to a Mariners game, and an on-air salute from Fox Sports Northwest. To enter, send in your nomination with a picture of the nominee, birth date, and a statement why they should be considered for the Boeing Youth Baseball Player of the Week Award. Winners will best embody the spirit of our national pastime. Send your nominations to the Boeing Youth Baseball Award, care of Fox Sports Northwest, 3626 156th Avenue Southeast, Bellevue, Washington, 98006.
In the coolest game on earth, players rely on 2 distinct approaches. One is the thinking man's approach, deception and anticipation.
Bishop to king's knight 4, aim up the sacrifices queen.
The other is strength, and from time to time, intimidation.
I bet a knight can beat the out of a bishop.
Oops, I slipped.
Welcome back to Hayward Field, the Pepsi Team Invitational. Oregon, Washington State, Arizona, and Indiana ready for the men's 800 meters. And once again, Bernard Legat from Washington State in here, along with a teammate, Rosto Kiplangat.
Next event on the track is the men's 800 meters.
So we would expect a pretty fast time here. The wind is still coming from the south, pretty good pace. And kind of a misty drizzle. Let's set the lane assignments for this. Lawrence Thomas of Indiana, Scott Kalenic of Oregon, Legat from Washington State, Koff of Arizona, Purnell of Indiana, Humke from Oregon, young redshirt freshman, Kiplangat from Washington State, and Jeremy Lyon of Arizona. See the meet record there at the bottom.
Indiana, 1:51:45, Eric Purnell.
Looking at Luther Kopp, seasonal best of 1:49.94, set in Tucson in March. Senior from Glenwood Springs, Colorado, and he's going to have to battle it out against those outstanding Washington State runners.
Mr. Nelson in the high jump, and in lane 8 from Arizona, Jeremy Lyon, men's 800.
You see Kiplangat there on the right in lane 7. You're looking at Todd Humke, young freshman for the Ducks, and last year Bill Dellinger was raving about this guy and had high hopes from the young man out of Sunset High School in Beaverton. Good start.
And we have a good start.
Race around the oval.
This should be one of the most competitive races of the day. Of course, you got to give Kiplangat the edge on it off seasonal PRs, but Luther Kopp is a tough runner from Arizona, and Bernard Legat, who's coming back from the 1500, he doesn't have a mark this year, but anybody who comes back from such an impressive win, you got to give some credence to in the 800.
Had the big kick in the 1500, so you know he has that speed. Koff setting the early pace. Kiplangat right behind him. Kiplangat from Nairobi. Ran 1:49.37 last week in Seattle against the Huskies. Washington victorious in that team competition, the men and women.
Kopp is setting a real honest pace, but look at here, Legat taking the lead.
He just doesn't like to be in the back, does he? He wants to be out front, setting the pace, and he's got the lead.
Well, first quarter was fairly slow, 54 seconds, so you can see how the afterburners kick in there. Kopp didn't extend himself too far, though. He might have something left, but Legat looks really good.
Battle appears to be for second. Legat with 200 meters to go. Kiplonget passes Kopp for second. And the Oregon runners trying to reel in Kopp.
Every point counts, don't forget. Scores all the way back to 8th place.
Legat looks like he got gnats running around his eyes, but he gets first. Kiplonget second. Kopp does hold on for third. And the two Oregon runners finish fourth and fifth.
Unofficially 1:49.2. Really excellent time under the conditions because it's breezy out there. And Kiplonget was second, 1:49.9.
Double winner today, Bernard Legat, Washington State. Keeping the Cougars within hailing distance of Oregon, which has the lead midway through this meet. Moving about 30 meters away to the high jump apron. This is Chris Nelson, fifth at the NCAAs last year, right here at Hayward Field. He's been consistently over 7 foot throughout the last 2 years and up and over here. So he's still in the competition. He is the favorite to win the men's high jump. We'll be back with more from Hayward Field after this timeout.
Here, happiness isn't taken for granted. Work and play don't argue. And I can always find you if I need you. Here, a handshake still beats an email. It wires on something that people connect, but something that connects people. Here you've got a life, but we've got a job to do. Life's better here. U.S. West.
Edgar is our DH, and in between at bats, he does a lot of little things.
Now, that's a good grip.
Things fans don't always notice. Little things that help the ball club.
The square root of 16 is 4.
Thanks, Edgar.
That's Edgar.
We want 18 pizzas, 9 with pepperoni.
And it's what makes him the quiet leader he is.
Yes, we have a coupon.
The 97 Mariners. You gotta love these guys.
The NHL and NBA playoffs are here. Craig Simpson and James Worthy are there. With 67 playoffs and 2 Stanley Cups, Craig Simpson is now part of our winning team. Big game James Worthy claims 143 playoffs and 3 championship rings. He's the man to take you through the NBA playoff wars. Simpson, Worthy, playoff coverage by the pros on Fox Sports News at 6. Only on Fox Sports Northwest. Young stars shine when the Tacoma Rainiers play live on Fox Sports Northwest. We've got exclusive coverage as the Tacoma Rainiers head for home. When the Rainiers step to the plate, every play is a shot at the majors, and nobody wants to lose. Home teams with Fox attitude sends the competition to the showers. So keep your eye on the ball as future Mariners swing for the seats exclusively on Fox Sports Northwest. Check your local cable listings for the next live Tacoma Rainiers game on Fox Sports Northwest.
Hayward Field in Eugene, midway through the Pepsi Team Invitational. This is Oregon's Chris Nelson, third and final attempt at 7 feet 1/2 inch. Nelson, who did not take any jumps this week, has been bothered by an injury, and one of the few people that can clear 7 feet off either leg wins the competition, and he's still jumping. Now we're ready for the lane assignments in the women's 400 intermediate hurdles. Claire Leckensmeyer of Washington State, Nicole Thomas of Arizona, 9th this year in the Pac-10. Tish Hennis of Oregon, improving by leaps and bounds in this event. Walter Wood, Jordan Hebert, and Wright. The race expected to be between Thomas and Hennis in lanes 2 and 3. Last year, Hennis third in the Pac-10 in this event with a best of 58.51. She's an Oregon heptathlete, would like to get the trip to the NCAA in the heptathlon. She'll have to get that qualifying mark of the Pac-10 championships in May in Seattle. Bothered by a hamstring injury this past week. We'll see how she does in this event. Fair start. Luckensmeyer, Thomas, Hennis, Walter, Wood, Jordan, Hebert, and Wright.
Intermediate hurdles is really a rhythm event, and Tish is kind of a novice at this. It's amazing the progress she's made so quickly.
Thomas and Hennis first over the barriers as they head down the backstretch. You see Tish Hennis there from Baker City, Oregon, was a dominant factor in the Class 3A state meet as a senior. At bests in the 800 on down. She was really something else.
The two favorites coming off the...
And Thomas did not go over that hurdle very nicely. She struggled a bit. Hennis with a little better form. One more barrier to hurdle. Hennis safely over, and now the final sprint. So Tish Hennis right around that 1 minute mark, maybe just under 60 seconds. Thomas and the battle for fourth between Arizona's Heather Jordan and Stacy Hebert. That was very close. But Tish Hennis gets first place for Oregon, 9 big points. Ready now for the men's intermediate hurdles. Set the field for this. Lane number 1, Donald Tidwell, the winner earlier today in the high hurdles. Will Dreesen, Tyson Allen, Kyle Dorsey of Arizona, hailing from Seattle, Ty Yeager, Kianaga, Wyckoff, and Unich round out the field. And you're looking right there at Kyle Dorsey with a best of 51.56. That's about almost 2 seconds faster than most of the rest of the field. The only other guy that's in the 53 range, Tyson Allen. And they are side by side in lanes 3 and 4. You see there Will Dreesen in lane number 2. Big, tall, lanky guy. Some marks these guys are shooting for. Pac-10 qualifying mark would be big for a number of these. Fair start. Dorsey out nicely along with Ty Yeager for Indiana in lane number 5. In fact, right now it is Dorsey and Yeager. Tyson Allen in third.
Dorsey looks really good. Look at the rhythm going. Nice over the hurdles. Very good form. Look at him eat up the stagger on the second turn there.
So Dorsey, who is from Arizona, 9th last year in the Pac-10, looking strong here. 2 more barriers to hurdle. And Will Dreesen running a nice race for Oregon in lane number 2. It's going to be Kyle Dorsey of Arizona running to the finish line. Will Dreesen a solid second. And finishing 4th for Oregon, Robin Kianaga. So the Oregon hurdlers did a nice job in these conditions today, used to the familiar territory of Hayward Field, picking up 2nd and 4th. And remember, in the scoring, if you finish first, that's worth 9, but 2nd is 7 and down the line. So you have to have quality and quality depth today, the way the scoring goes. And 2nd and 4th for Oregon, you pick up 12 big points. Here's where Dorsey made his move at about the 200-meter mark.
What's significant here is not so much how fast he's going, but how smooth he is over the barriers. He was able to keep his strength really well until about the 8th hurdle. Kind of worked a little bit over the last 2. As you can see, he's a little bit ragged, but coming into the finish, nice, strong upper body. He'll be a factor in the Pac-10 and perhaps even in the NCAA later on.
Nice race today. Let's check out the team scoring. After 12 events, 2/3 of the way through, Oregon leading Washington State 133.5 to 115. Arizona at 102. The women's team scoring almost identical. Oregon with 139, Washington State and Arizona battling it out for second right now. And we'll be back with more from the Pepsi Team Invitational from Hayward Field in a moment.
Are you ready for real action? Fox Sports News slams it home with fast break to the NBA Finals. Analyst James Worthy gives his picks of the NBA teams and players who can go all the way. Can the Knicks conquer the Bulls? And will the Shaq Attack drive the Lakers back to the finals? Plus, Barkley, Malone, and Ewing reach for the ring. Whose year will this be? Watch Fast Break to the NBA Finals. Monday at 5 on Fox Sports Northwest.
Original shows, innovative coverage. Only we can bring you the world of golf in all its glory. The Golf Channel.
To get the Golf Channel, call your local cable operator or satellite programming provider today.
Cancer can take away all my physical abilities. It cannot touch my mind, it cannot touch my heart, and it cannot touch my soul. And those three things are going to carry on forever.
To help keep Jimmy V's dream alive, please call 1-800-4-JIMMY-V. Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Welcome back to the Pepsi Team Invitational. There's still a slight drizzle here, and the wind's still coming out of the south, but at this point, the Oregon men and women teams don't seem to matter much. They have the team leads ready for the women's 200 meters. The lane assignments: Jamie Taylor of Arizona, Sharika Higgins, Campbell, Wallace, Jackson, Tamika Brown in the 200, did not run the 100, Turner, and Hillary Hawley, a freshman from Woodburn, Oregon. Well, Higgins and Brown of Washington State, the Cougars are dominating in the sprint so far as expected. Outscored Oregon 23-0 in the dual meet in Pullman, but beat Oregon by only 1 point in that dual meet. And here's their opportunity to get back into this one, because they are trailing by about 17, 18 points as we head into this event.
Washington State must take 1-2 in this. They absolutely must. And with Tamika Brown and Sharika Higgins, they should take 1-2.
Key for Oregon be the performance of Aisha Wallace. She's in the center there, lane number 4. Oregon is hoping that she can finish up in the pack. And keep in mind, if everybody finishes, everybody gets scoring. You see the qualifying marks there. 24-64, Pac-10 qualifying mark.
39-16.
Aisha Wallace from Oakland, California. Fair start. In fact, we've not had a false start today.
They're running into a pretty stiff headwind, so I don't expect the time to be much. But right now, Aisha Wallace is looking pretty good. But look at Sharika Higgins out in lane 6. Tamika Brown in 2.
Sharika Higgins and Brown. It looks like 1-2 for the Cougs. And that's what it will be. Sharika Higgins, as the Cougars now have gone 1-2 in the 200 meters, and they're back in this thing. Coming near the end of the meet, still some field events going on. Of course, we have the 3,000, and we also have the final 4x400, and who knows, the meet may come down to that.
Practicing his javelin throw. Thanks to one of our crew chiefs again. Thanks to Phil, who are winning the high jump today. Pepsi invite.
Men's 200. We've got Akinremi coming back for Arizona. He won the 100 with ease. Guillermo Macias of Washington State in there. Nat Johnson, a long jump winner earlier today. And Damian Ortiz, the two Arizona runners, may be going at it in lanes 3 and 7.
Right there you see Akinremi. He was so impressive in that 100. Actually, his teammate, Damian Ortiz, should be favored here slightly, but I look at a 1-2 for Arizona.
And the Wildcats' opportunity to move up in the standings. Fair start. And as you mentioned, the two Arizona runners quickly out in front. Ortiz is going to be in lane number 6, and in lane number 7, and in lane number 3 is Akinremi. This is Ortiz, and it's Ortiz Akinremi finishing third for Indiana. Russell Brooks, Nat Johnson fourth.
Followed the form chart on that one. Ortiz looked real good.
One of the most improved performers for the Oregon women's team this year has been Heidi Fisk from Lebanon, Oregon, and a big one there, into the lead. And that's another personal best for Heidi Fisk, 158 even. So Heidi Fisk, big points for Oregon as the Ducks look to win this Pepsi Team Invitational.
Attention tire shoppers. The Les Schwab Spring Flyer has everything you need on sale. Page after page of great buys. Featuring for the first time ever the entire family of Wild Countries on sale. Sale prices on Les Schwab's best C800 Plus. Performance tires on sale. Great buys in the Northwest's largest selection of custom wheels. And unheard of prices on excellent quality all-season radios. Happening now, the Les Schwab Spring Tire Sale.
Some people call them dumb animals. But there's one thing they understand, and a lot of humans don't. That physical activity is an essential part of healthy living. In fact, even moderate physical activity can help reduce your risk factors for heart disease, which makes acting like an animal anything but dumb. A message from the American Heart Association.
In the narrow margin between his own reflexes and the pitcher's best move, the base stealer stalks his prey. Becoming one with the pitcher's rhythm, he looks for a weakness, a tell, a twitch. And then bam, he strikes like a cobra, turning walks into doubles, doubles into runs, and his knees into blistering scabs.
Move on to the Red Sox battle the Baltimore Orioles Thursday at 4:30 on Fox Sports Northwest.
Teams are jamming. Oh, yeah. Fox Sports is slamming. Oh, yeah. Mariners are jamming. Oh, yeah. Sonics are slamming. Oh, yeah. Your teams are here. You're gonna cheer. Come on, let's go. Here come the show. Get out the way. Ducks gotta play. We're taking the floor. Oh, yeah. Huskies will score. Oh, yeah. Northwest gets down in your hometown. Coach Carl rocked because he's on Fox. Home teams are slamming. Oh, yeah. Northwest is jamming. Oh, yeah.
Welcome back to Hayward Field, near the conclusion of the Pepsi Team Invitational. Pick up action in the women's 3,000 meters. And we have a good four-person race going on right now with Marie Davis of Oregon, her teammate Heather McMahon, and for Arizona, Emily Ney. Running for Washington State in that lead pack is Sarah Council. Here are the numbers that are important to these runners. But at this point, Oregon trying to virtually wrap up the team competition if they could get big numbers here in the 3,000, and right now they're in position to do just that.
Just over 3 laps to go. Sarah Council in third for Washington State scored a very important point against the Ducks by beating Heather McMahon in their dual meet. Washington State ended up winning that meet by 1 point.
Number 111 is Marie Davis. third best mark in the Pac-10 this year, set last week, 9:29.92 in the Oregon Invitational. Sophomore from Lincoln High School in Portland. Sixth at the Pac-10 last year in the 3,000, and really had a banner first season for Oregon where she PR'd in the 800, the 1,500, and the 3,000, and was a top cross-country runner for the Ducks as well last fall, finishing 5th in the Pac-10, 6th at the regional meet, and then 18th at the NCAA cross-country championships.
Marie's having to do all the work here. Emily May likes to sit back. She likes to wait until the last half lap or so and try to kick. So we'll see if Marie can kind of husband her resources so she has something to answer when Emily makes her challenge.
Marie hails from the state of Montana. She's 7th in the Pac-10 time-wise this week with a 9:36, and she beat Marie Davis earlier this year in the indoor season at Reno. So they've seen each other and they kind of know what each other's styles are. Marie Davis is not the biggest person in the world, and for her to battle that wind makes it tough. And you can see Council drafting, as you would see in an automobile race, but not much to draft behind Marie.
Well, Marie must have heard his talking, Todd, because just as soon as we talked about Emily May's kick, she put on a little burst, and it looks like May is falling back. Council's trying to keep that imaginary string attached to Marie Davis ahead of her.
75 seconds on the last lap. Marie Davis is open about the 8 to 10 meter lead. In fact, is extending that as we speak over Council. May is in third, and in fourth place, Heather McMahon, Oregon high school star from a great program in Bend. We'll take a look at McMahon right there.
Marie's really stretching it out here. I know she wasn't planning to run for time today, but she sure wants to make sure she's got a good distance over second place.
Won 6 state championships in high school. In fact, helped lead Lincoln High School to the state championship in Oregon in her senior season. First to state championship in 15 years for Lincoln High School. Has some international experience as well as a member of the U.S. junior cross-country team in both 93 and 96. Coming up on the bell lap for Marie Davis of Oregon. Sarah Council about 20 meters behind.
Stretching it out. This is very impressive.
Her last lap, 77 seconds, so she's actually slowed down a little bit, but so has the rest of the field.
Winner of the women's discus throw with a t-shirt to give away, new lifetime vest. A great day for her. She set her lifetime vest on 3 separate occasions.
Well, Marie Davis trying to etch her name in the Oregon record book, the top 10 list of so many great names over the years for Oregon and this event, the 3,000, the Pac-10 champions. You think of Annette Hand winning an NCAA championship in the 5. It has always been the bread and butter of the Oregon program. And Marie Davis, only a sophomore.
Well, Marie will have a very good time for the conditions today. And the amazing athlete here is Sarah Council. Sarah has not had a real fast 3,000, 9:54.32, her best. She's going to crush that.
Well, the provisional time is 9:43 for Marie Davis, and she's well under that, looking to move up that provisional list. Of course, she had a 9:29 last week, so this time not quite as good, but for Council, very nicely done, 9:41.82, so she gets a provisional mark. And here comes Emily Ney for Arizona, finishing third, and McMahon for Oregon, finishing fourth. 9:53.91 for McMahon.
Both qualifying for the Pac-10 championships in the 3,000.
Here's Marie.
Well,
6th last year in the 3, and hoping to improve upon that this time around. The Pac-10 championships in Seattle. The last couple of weekends in the month of May. The multi-events, the 3rd weekend in May, and then the Pac-10 championships for everybody else the following weekend in Seattle. Ought to be a dandy. Hayward Field in Eugene. A reminder on Fox Sports Northwest, Thursday, you can see the Boston Red Sox and the Baltimore Orioles. That'll be Thursday, April 24th at 4:30 p.m. here on Fox Sports Northwest. Wonder what a blimp ride would look like today. Look at some of the results from earlier today in the pole vault. Autio, great effort today, 17.4.5. See the women's hammer, Chris Civitanich, great effort there, 160.11. That's a PR for her, upsetting Holly Montoya. Long jump, Oregon goes 1-2. Nat Johnson, nice effort today, 23 feet. Women's triple jump, Kristen Cook of Washington State, the winner there, 38.8 even. Oregon, though, goes second and third. Then shot put, Ian Waltz of Washington State. We saw his 58.4 earlier today. Ryan Cole, good effort there to finish second as the Ducks go 2 and 3. In the discus, Heidi Fisk, 158 even. You know, to win events like this, you have to have some unknowns come to the fore, and she was one that did it today for Oregon. And in the high jump, Chris Nelson, as expected, 7 foot, 1/2 inch. And when we come back, we'll have the finish of the men's 5,000 meters.
My grandfather was born a slave, but both he and my grandmother went to college and became teachers. As you can imagine, the power of education was made very clear to me. So with the help of the college fund, I went to college. It prepared me for graduate school and other challenges, like being married to this guy.
Help young people reach their potential. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. Please support the college fund. What do you mean, challenge?
I'm Rick Tootin, punter for the Seattle Seahawks. When disaster strikes your community, police, fire rescue, and other emergency services can't always help everyone at once. You need to be ready to help yourself and your family. Talk to your family about disaster preparedness. Learn CPR and first aid, and have supplies on hand. Being prepared before disaster strikes is the most important thing you can do.
The Sonics are committed. Committed to getting into the playoffs. Committed to getting families into homes. Along with neighborhood revitalization efforts, they're breaking down the barriers to home ownership, sponsoring home buying fairs and providing free information. The Supersonics and the Fannie Mae Foundation, showing America a new way home.
James Worthy, one of the greatest NBA players of all time. From one winning team to our winning team. Expert analysis.
And the only way you can stop Michael Jordan is put him in a cage.
On Fox Sports News at 6.
We are there! Fox Sports News! We are there! Fox Sports News! Everywhere! That's it! On there! That's it!
5,000 meters, we have several races within a race, as you can see, with 2 laps to go. Oregon and Arizona. The Arizona runner is Bob Kano. He's been stalking Davis for much of the last 4 laps. Micah Davis of Oregon. And then behind them, we have a battle for second and third. You can see in the right-hand portion of your screen between another Oregon and Arizona runners, Conrad Knutson and Jeff McClarty. So we'll get back to the race momentarily. After 15 events, that means 4 to go on the men's side. You can see Oregon with a comfortable lead over Washington State, Arizona third. Women's scoring after 15 events, a couple to go. 154.5 Oregon, Washington State 140. And we can tell you that earlier you saw Heidi Fisk in the discus. Well, we can now tell you that her winning mark was a big PR for her. And also we can tell you in the hammer throw, Civitanich's winning effort today was a school record. So the Oregon throwers on the women's side have done a great job. But back to the 5,000.
And Bob Kano's about to take over. Bob sat on Micah Davis. Micah did his best to keep a good pace going, but you know, Bob Kano's PR is over a minute better than Micah Davis's, so it's just a matter of time. Last lap.
Last 2 laps in 67 and 69. So they picked up the pace after running 70s. And Conrad Knutson has passed Jeff McClarty in the battle for third. Boy, how many times have we seen this over the years? 5,000 meters, the backstretch, the fans on their feet. This has really been a popular event for Oregon fans over the years. They've had some great runners in this, and of course, you mentioned the name Kano, and it brings back tremendous memories internationally in track and field.
Oh, give Davis credit. He's doing his best to stick with the Kano, but
he's not backing off here.
No, not at all.
And the crowd is on its feet on the near side grandstands. Kano into another gear, looking over his shoulder. Micah Davis giving it his all, but just not today. As Kano turns it on and pulls away to victory in the 5,000. 14-17 unofficially. Davis 14-19 unofficially. But that was a tactical race, and that is a huge PR for Micah Davis by 40 seconds. And here is Conrad Knutson. He's been running some steeplechases for Oregon, and he will hold on to finish third.
Great PR for Micah Davis.
Micah Davis led most of the way. He did a lot of the work. Kano just a little bit too much talent down the stretch. And Micah, who has a brother Matt, who is redshirting this year, unable to reel him in at the end.
Walk in the park for Bob Kano, but what a performance by Micah Davis. Huge PR. He gets a Pac-10 qualifying time. He really has established himself, along with his brother Matthew Davis, as being a top distance runner for Oregon.
That great Meade High School program. Pat Tyson, former Duck, the head coach up there. All right, let's head over to the women's shot put. Chris Civitanich for Oregon. This is her second attempt in the shot. Last field event for the women in today's meet, and nicely done, up over 44 feet, 44-11 for Civitanich. She's having a good day for the Ducks. As we mentioned, all the Oregon women throwers, great job. They've won the hammer, they've won the javelin, they won the discus, trying to win the shot. You look at Allison Morgan from Indiana. This is her third attempt in the shot, trying to recapture the lead. And not pleased with that one, but she has the lead, 48-1. We'll be back with more from the Pepsi Team Invitational. The relays coming up.
Fox Sports Northwest is where to turn for your teams and your sports. We've got it all, and we're bringing it home to you. Whether it's played with the head, hands, feet, or heart, if the winning combination is style and grace or power and punch, or you want the challenge of the clock, the finish line, the goal, or the soul, Fox Sports Northwest is where you'll find your team giving its best. Turn to Fox Sports Northwest when you want it all. Home teams, Fox attitude.
Simon Fraser travels to the Beavers for women's softball Wednesday, April 23rd at 4 Pacific.
If you ask whether it's better to give or receive, I'm in favor of both. Either can change a person's life. I remember when I received a travel and training grant from the Women's Sports Foundation. The grant made me feel like people believed in me, believed that I could become a champion. It kept me going strong when I needed it the most. Now I feel an obligation to give back to other young athletes, which is why I'm telling you about the Travel and Training Fund. The fund will give a lot of serious female athletes the boost I got. It will help young women become their absolute best, maybe even champions.
If you're an aspiring athlete or know of someone who could use some financial help, find out more about the Travel and Training Fund. Write to Travel and Training Fund, care of the Women's Sports Foundation, Eisenhower Park, East Meadow, New York, 11554. Or call 1-800-227-3988.
Don't let anything stop you from trying.
Reach out to a girl. Help girls grow up strong, smart, and bold. Call Girls Incorporated.
Final running event for the women, the 4x400 relay. You see the lane assignments, Oregon, Indiana, Arizona, and Washington State. And at this point, Oregon has already wrapped up the team scoring, but they're going to send out pretty solid relay group as they stand him back up. You're looking at Karin Knudsen, victorious today in the 1500. Solid effort today. She continues her progress. Feels that the one thing she needs to concentrate on is just getting into more races and becoming better in racing as opposed to just running for some times.
Hey, baby!
We have a clean start.
Oregon, Indiana, Arizona, and Washington State.
Should be fairly close between Arizona and Oregon. Looks like Arizona is running its first team also, so this could be a good race.
This is Dee Buzzy, a hurdler that we've seen had a pretty good day today for the Wildcats. Campbell running for Indiana and running for Washington State's Ferrara.
Not many teams in the Pac-10 with a 1,500-meter runner as their leadoff leg in the 4x4, but Karin is real strong. I expect she'll pick up some of this distance here coming into the home stretch. Of course, Buzzy, very strong, heptathlete, already won the hurdles.
So right now it appears to be Arizona and Oregon. On a pretty shaky handoff there for the Wildcats as Jackson gets the baton, and for Oregon, Aisha Wallace. It's not a very good exchange for the Cats.
Lost their entire lead there. Now, Aisha is not particularly a strong 400-meter runner. We'll have to see. Falling back into it, Arizona.
And Wallace got bumped off there a little bit. Lost her stride momentarily. Arizona and Indiana.
Coming into this race, Indiana's best for the season is only 3:50.93. This is Ferrara, their 800-meter runner. She's very strong. She's giving a little bit of a lead, and here comes Aisha Wallace back into the race.
So third leg going to be for Arizona as they have the lead.
Carolyn Jackson and Sue Morris just blasting into second. Oh, careful, Sue. Looks like she's going to try to do it all here in the first 200.
Meters to go, third leg. It's been an impressive performance up and down the line for Oregon. Tucked away a few more first places today than I think originally expected, and they gave out the throws, but they come through in a number of other events as well. And Sue Morris turning it on. Sue Morris, former Churchill High School product and a state champion for the Lancers a couple of years ago, will give Oregon the lead, handing off to Tish Hennis for the final leg.
Very smart leg by Sue Morris as Jackson hands off to Griffin. Tish Hennis got a good lead on that exchange. This looks like instant replay of the last leg. Griffin trying to make up the distance on Hennis. Let's see if she just hangs back like Sue Morris did or goes right on by. But Tish is so strong. 200 meters to go.
The differential in size there, and right now Tish Hennis just in a comfortable pace. I think Griffin gave it all she had in the first 200. And all of a sudden, Indiana, IU back in the hunt.
Oh, this is
Bruning.
Bruning, yeah.
Bruning trying to run down Tish Hennis.
Indoor 600-meter champion.
Hennis, though, striding. She's a tough competitor. And Tish Hennis turns it on in the final 70 meters. Tish Hennis. Oregon finishes first, Indiana, followed by Arizona. But you have to give Arizona a lot of credit there. They had to make up that deficit early. They tried, they did. Bruning a great run, great split. But Tish Hennis just too strong for everybody. And Oregon concludes the meet with a big victory in the 4x4. Ennis a winner today in the 400 hurdles. It's infectious.
On the last 50 meters, she just put on the afterburners.
Congratulations to Oregon. Let's go over to the men's discus. Wrapping up. Ian Waltz, the prohibitive favorite in this event. He's the leader right there, 174.03 into the lead for Ian Waltz, and he's probably got a little bit more left in him as well. Well, a reminder, coming up on Fox Sports Northwest, baseball, as the Kansas City Royals visit the Kingdome to take on the Mariners. Pre-game show starts at 6:30, game time 7 o'clock here on Fox Sports Northwest. Coming up next, from the Pepsi Team Invitational, the men's 4x400.
Joey Cora works out diligently, so he'll have more pop in his bat, more speed from first to third, more zip on his relay throw, but mostly he works out so he'll look good in the Mariners' new jerseys. The 97 Mariners. You gotta love these guys.
Women's Sports Foundation, championing women in sports. Call and see how far you can go.
Some people call them dumb animals. But there's one thing they understand, and a lot of humans don't. That physical activity is an essential part of healthy living. In fact, even moderate physical activity can help reduce your risk factors for heart disease, which makes acting like an animal anything but dumb. A message from the American Heart Association.
Final event on the track in today's Pepsi Team Invitational. Lane assignments. Washington State in lane number 3. Arizona in lane number 4. Oregon in 5. Indiana in lane 6. Once again, Oregon won the team championship, so trying to put a little icing on the cake. You see those qualifying times. And I don't think any of these teams today will have a chance to match any of those. At this point in a meet, a lot of times you have a mismatch of performers depending on who's healthy and who wants to still run and who's still in the house. Washington State, Arizona, Oregon, and Indiana. Will Dreesen, the leadoff man for Oregon.
It should be close between Arizona and Indiana. Right now, I'd give it to Arizona. They've been showing very well in the sprints all day long.
So Akinremi for Arizona. He's a 100-meter winner today. Finished second in 200. To his teammate Damian Ortiz. Bruno, the leadoff runner for Indiana. Olsen running for Washington State.
Bruno's running a great leg. Akinremi looks like he may be a little tired from the 1 and 2.
And he had a great 100-meter run today. So the exchange is all good. This is Dorsey running for Arizona. Great run today, sub 52 seconds in the 400 hurdles. Running for Oregon, Scott Humke. And running for Indiana's Collins. Washington State a distant fourth right now. There goes Dorsey.
Of course, he already has won the 400 hurdles. Professor Collins trying to hold him off, but Dorsey's a real strong guy. You got to be to run those hurdles.
And not a big guy for a 400 hurdler, but he is strong, and he is going to give the lead to Arizona. Third leg for the Wildcats will be Koff. Scott Kalenic, the third runner for Oregon.
Luther Kopp, who's an 800-meter runner, is going to do his best to hold off Dorian Thomas of Indiana.
In the team race today, every team had their moments, I think, but Oregon just had a little bit too much depth. Cougars hurt with some absentees that didn't make it, but Oregon going 1-2 in the long jump. They win the triple jump. Cole had a good day throwing today for Oregon. Jeremy Robinson, a nice day in the hammer. And then just getting it done in the other events, the steeplechase. For Arizona, Kopp handing off to Damian Ortiz, and for IU, it's going to be Furnell. And Oregon right now in third.
Ortiz, the 200-meter winner. Furnell's doing his best to close that gap, but I think that Ortiz has got just a little bit too much here coming into the home stretch.
You like to see these guys laying it on the line in the final event where the team scoring is out of reach, but all of these guys are competitors, and here comes Howard Moore making a strong charge for third, but it's going to be Arizona, followed by IU and Oregon. Washington State will finish fourth, and we don't have complete scoring for the men because the discus competition